Why Jon North is the best weightlifting coach. You know, I tell you guys, asking you will receive. And Blair asked for more stories about Glenn and John. I thought to myself, why not? But I'm going to make this post and I'm going to tell a story about John. And more importantly to the story, though, is I'm going to share a lesson with you along with the story. So it's not a parable because it really happened. So this isn't the story about the tortoise and the hare. This is a true story, and the true story, there's a lot to learn from it. So, I'm this dumb shit kid from Pittsburgh, and I don't know anything about anything. And I decided, hey, I'm gonna go train at California Strength. Because why not? That's what I do with my life. If you don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Chad, and I do random shit, which leads me to really cool adventures. So this is no different than the time I decided I'm going to go travel to California and try to train with Jesse Burdick. And then Jesse Burdick ended up teaching me how to bench press, which was amazing. These are the things that I do. I just randomly go places and then hope that people will accept me. It's not like I called ahead and was like, hey, do you mind if I stop by? No, I literally just showed up. It's kind of like the story of how I ended up working with Dan John. I literally just showed up one day. And everyone was like, where are you from? I'm like, Pittsburgh. They're like, you are a long way from home. And I'm like, yes, indeed I am. So in any case, I show up at California Strength and I walk in the door and I'm like, hey, I want to train here. And everyone's like, okay, are you an Olympic weightlifter? I was like, nope. And everyone's like, you want to do Olympic weightlifting? I'm like, yeah. And everyone was like, what's your background? I was like, I do some CrossFit, like I know how to do the lifts. I can do power cleans really well, stuff like that. And of course, then, John, of all people, is like, I'll coach you. Didn't hesitate. Didn't question me, didn't give me a hard time, nothing. John was just like, I'll coach you. Welcome me right in. And so, I'm explaining to John how I do CrossFit. I know what I'm doing, and I don't know what I'm doing because then I demonstrate how I snatch, and it's basically me just swinging the barbell up. So this is almost like a upright row into a press. I'm basically doing a Cuban press with the barbell, and I squat underneath it as I'm doing a Cuban press. And John's like, dude, you have so much more in the tank. So John taught me how to snatch, and I don't care what you think of John's drills, okay? The various drills, you can find them on YouTube. This whole like bump and catch thing, yeah, guess what? It works. So John showed me how to do that, and next thing you know, I'm snatching 80 kilos. What? Yeah. Simply someone showing me how to do it correctly. Instantly I was stronger. Surprise? Not really, because this is a technique-based thing. Anyways, so John is super excited. And John is celebrating my huge PR of 80 kilos. Now, this is an interesting thing, because if you know anything about California Strength, you know some of the stories about California Strength. And, Donnie has a rule that you're not allowed to celebrate a clean that's less than 200 kilos. And, well, John was celebrating my 80 kilo snatch because that's the heaviest thing I'd ever snatched, right? And so I come back the next day, and I snatched like 82 and a half or something. And then I came back the next day, and I snatched 85. And by the end of the week, I snatched 90. 1 week. And I made that much progress, right? And every time I made a lift, whether it was a PR power snatch or a PR snatch, John celebrated it like I had set a fucking world record. John was like, that is fantastic work. He kept telling me how good I was. He kept telling me how great I was doing. Now, mind you, I weighed about 62 kilos whenever I first showed up at California Strength. And I remember John telling me, I don't see any reason why you can't snatch 120. Pay attention to what happens here. You think this is dumb. You're like, what an idiot. Can't believe Jon North told you that. What are the odds of you snatching 120 at a weight of 62? But John said to me, I don't see any reason why you can't snatch 120. So you know what that did to me? It put a number in my head where I was like, yeah, I can snatch 120. I can get there. And John was like, yeah, dude, if you just do this for a while and you stick with it, you're going to get there. You know, like you could definitely snatch 120. So I believed it. Right. So, long story short, 3 months later, I'm now weighing probably around 68, 69 kilos. Okay, maybe even 70. I put on quite a bit of weight because one of the things that I learned there, hey Glenn, I know he's passed, don't be weird. I'm genuinely saying something nice about Glenn here. One of the things that Glenn did for me was he took me out to eat all the time because he knew I was fucking broke. So Glenn would be like, hey, come on out and get sushi with me. Hey, like, let's run to Chipotle. Let's, whatever the fuck it was. Glenn would take me out to eat. Do you know what that does to someone who's not eating enough because they can't afford to eat enough? And now you're feeding them? Dude, I fucking blew up. Like, I didn't go from being 62 and lean to being like a fat 70. I got bigger and stronger, and I was still lean. Like, you could see my abs still. So it's not like I just got fat. So anyways, you know, I can't say enough good things about Glenn. Who does that? Some random fucking kid from Pittsburgh walks into your gym, says I want to train here, and you're like, yeah, why not? And then you take him out to eat, and you feed him. Not too many people do that. That's a pretty rare thing. I've been around a lot. There's not a lot of people that will help you. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. In general, people are very selfish, and they're usually not willing to help you unless there's something in it for them. So for someone helping you for absolutely no reason, I don't think anyone thought that I was going to be an Olympic weightlifter either. I told Glenn right from the start, my goal is the Navy. I'm trying to become a Navy SEAL. So I'm just learning Olympic weightlifting because I want to be more explosive. I want to jump higher. And so that was the whole point of me even doing this. It wasn't because I'm like, oh, I want to compete in Olympic weightlifting. No, I wanted to learn weightlifting because I thought it would make me more explosive. It would help me jump higher. There's this awful thing called the dirty name. And I've told this story in previous videos. I tried to get over this obstacle. It's on the obstacle course. And I can't jump high enough. So it made me realize, oh shit, I need to get better at jumping. And I thought to myself, what's the best way to get better at jumping than jumping with weights? Which is, what's weightlifting? Jumping with weights. Surprise. Anyways, point being, yeah, so people don't typically want to help you unless, of course, there's something in it for them. And Glenn helped me, expecting nothing in return. Continuing forward, back to Jon North and coaching. Every time I hit a lift, it doesn't matter what it was, a front squat PR, a back squat PR, a snatch grip deadlift PR, anything. Jon celebrated it like I had just conquered the whole fucking world. And that motivated me. I was always motivated. I wanted to make my coach happy. I wanted to win. I wanted to hit bigger numbers. Every little PR was a huge PR. Even if it was 1 kilo, Jon acted like I had just broken a world record. This motivates athletes because athletes like that feedback, okay? And we PR'd on something every time too. That's another thing to catch here. So I must have like a shitty day, right? And I'm trying to, I don't know, snatch something, and I keep missing it. And Jon would be like, move on to a snatch grip deadlift. And I would PR that. And so we would celebrate that because that was okay. Or I'd have a shitty day. I remember one day I was doing cleans. I can't remember how heavy it was. Might have even just been like 100 kilos, might have been 105 kilos. I can't even remember what it was. I got pinned underneath it. And it was a weight that I had done before, so I was super pissed off. And, I kept getting pinned, and I'm just getting angrier and angrier the more I did it. And Jon was like, hey, go over to the blocks and do some jerks. And I hit a PR on the fucking, jerk. Just, no big deal. Like, who cares? But the thing is, Jon acted like I had conquered the whole fucking world. So we left the gym that day. You're feeling good because you hit a PR on something. This is a lesson from Louis Simmons. Louis Simmons talks about how you make sure that you PR every day. So like if you can't PR your back squat, like you work on something else and PR that. Like maybe you hit a fucking PR on good mornings or something. The point is you leave the day on a win. There's another lesson from Jon. Here we go. So now I'm talking 3 months in, right? 3 months in and I snatched 110. That sounds impossible. I went from not knowing how to snatch, not properly, just muscling the bar up, to learning how to snatch, snatching 90 kilos within the same week, like I started Monday and by Friday I snatched 90. And then 3 months later I snatched 110. What's the lesson here, folks? There's a big lesson here. It's all about confidence and believing what's possible and celebrating those small wins. It keeps you super fucking motivated. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. I've said it so many times. You are capable of so much more than you think you are. Some person out there told you it's not possible to bench press 405, and now you believe it's not possible to bench press 405. Some person told you it's not possible to front squat double body weight, and now you believe that it's not possible to front squat double body weight. Well, I assure you, it is possible to front squat double body weight. I've done it. Been there. Still there, right? This is an important thing. I've done things that I was told, oh, that's impossible. I had someone tell me once that deadlifting 3 times your body weight is physically impossible without steroids, and I went and deadlifted 455 at a body weight of 150. Then Paul Carter explained to me that that's actually nothing at all, that in powerlifting, a 3 times body weight deadlift isn't even a novice level. So Paul told me not to ever listen to anyone who deadlifts less than 3 times body weight because, well, and he also told me that weightlifting causes muscle loss because there's no eccentric. But the point being, what's more important here is that you have to believe that you can do something before you're going to do it. Because if you look at that barbell and think, there's no way I'm going to lift this thing, then you're not going to fucking do it. But every time I went up to anything, it was this is a PR lift for me. Jon's like, dude, you got this. And he would frame it in a good way. So like I would go up and I would be doing a clean. And let's say it was like, I don't know, it's 105 kilos. And Jon's like, dude, you got this. You can front squat way more than this. You can front squat that for a set of 5. You have this, no problem. Yeah, I do. Even though I've never cleaned this weight before, the fact that I can front squat this weight for reps, yeah, I can definitely do this. And that was Jon's philosophy on everything. It's like, there's 110 kilos on the bar. And Jon's like, dude, you got this. You can front squat this easy. You have this. And it's like, yeah, I do. So you're putting 100 kilos on the bar and you're going to snatch it. And Jon's like, dude, you can snatch grip deadlifts all day. Like, this is nothing for you to pull this off the floor. All you got to do is get under it. It's like, yeah, I can. That's what makes Jon such a great coach. I don't care how you feel about his technique videos or whatever other bullshit you want to have an opinion on. 90% of this game is psychological. Whatever it is, it's I don't care if it's playing football or playing baseball, it's powerlifting, it's weightlifting, it's running track, whatever it is. So much of this is, one, you have to stay motivated. Well, I tell you what, a good coach can keep you motivated because they celebrate those small wins. They find, that's the important thing, they find for something for you to win on. Okay? So when you're having a shit day, they tell you, hey, move on to jerks. And you make a PR jerk, and now you're like, this is a fucking win. Okay? Or they tell you, move on to front squats, and you get 6 reps instead of 5. Hey, that's a fucking PR. They find something for you to PR on. That'll keep you motivated. So if you want to be a good coach, find something for them to PR on. People love to make progress. Let me say that again. People love to make progress. There are a few things that feel better than knowing that you're making progress. And you shut them down before they fuck it up, right? So, hey, I just snatched 110. I think I'm going to go for 111. And they're like, no. You already hit 110. You're done for the day. That's a PR. You're done for the day. That's right. You walk out on the PR, because if you went for 111 and missed it, now you leave and you're pissed off because you're like, I fucking missed 111. You've already forgotten about the fact that you made the 110. You know how that works. I don't care how good things are going. You hit a PR, and the next thing you bomb out on, and you're like, fuck it. Look at powerlifting. Oh, you hit a PR on the squat, you hit a PR on the bench press, and then you fucking bomb out on the deadlift, and what do? You leave the meet pissed off because you're like, I bombed out on the deadlift, I had a shit day. The reality is you PR'd your squat and your bench press. You've already forgotten about that because you bombed out on the deadlift. Ruined the whole goddamn day. All right? So, back to Jon. Jon always found a good reason to celebrate. There was always a good reason. You did good on this today. Whatever it is, you did good on this today. And let's say there was a day where I really did just shit the bed and I didn't PR any of my lifts. John would be like, dude, your technique is looking so much smoother. You know, I know that you're tired and you're fatigued, so, you know, maybe you missed a few lifts because you couldn't stand them up, but man, your pull is just looking so much more consistent. You're making so much progress. Your technique is so much better. Still a fucking win. And that's what makes John a great coach. He comes in, he has energy. You get 100% of his energy the entire time. He's not distracted. He's not paying attention to other people. You are getting his undivided attention, and he is your biggest fan. And so he's there motivating you the entire time. And I can't say enough about training with him. It's impossible to be in a bad mood. No matter how shitty my day was going, when I come in, John was there, and John was in a good mood, and he put everyone else in a better mood, and he joked around, and he knew how to work the mindset, the psychological side of it. So every day was a good day. There's a lot to be said about that. I think a lot of coaches are lacking that because they're a bunch of fucking nerds and they don't understand that half of this game is just keeping people motivated because it's a time game. It's what it is. It's a time game. If you put 10 years in, you're going to make progress. If people get discouraged in the first couple of weeks, they're not making any progress. You have to keep people motivated. You have to keep people motivated long term. And that is so much more important than whether or not you can put together the perfect percentages, sets, and reps. So, there you guys have it. You asked for a story about Jon North, you got one. And I hope that this is a good lesson for you. Study. Learn how to motivate people. Motivation is a critical factor. Remember, you are not just a coach, you are a leader. Yeah. Even if you're leading one person at a time, you're still a leader.